Here we are at another wonderful installation of acceleration. Of course, acceleration is designed to do exactly that, to get you where you want to go faster. And the cool thing about where we are and what we do is that, well, I guess the cool thing about what you have with us is that you're partnered up with some folks who have the ability or have accelerated to the point where we've achieved a lot of things. And our job, probably my coolest job, is to help other people achieve all the things that they want, especially whatever that means to get you free, to be able to, so you can do the things in life that you've always wanted to do, and the things that you picture as you're driving down the road, and anyway, that kind of thing, and to do as absolutely as fast as possible. And again, my name is John Elias, and Chad Churchill is on the phone, and he here is what's called a managing director. He manages agent directors, the folks that you call in and chat with to help you do deals. And you may have talked to Chad also along the way, or maybe will going forward, because when you need help closing business, it's sometimes people do. They need somebody else to have a conversation with the merchant, or just some kind of assistance to help you get the deal done. Chad's done this a long time. He's seen thousands of accounts. He's a real asset for you on your team. So anyway, so we have Chad here today, and we have Nate Rogers, who has been with us for a couple months, I think. And Nate is an advisor, and what we wanted to do is bring him on so he could share what he did to get going. Nate got going fast enough to get a quick start bonus, and rather than me tell a story, I thought it'd be handy for Nate to come on and go, hey, here's because there's a lot of people on, and I know this is old hat for some of the guys and gals who've been around a long time, but maybe you guys too can chime in at different points if it makes sense. We could talk about maybe where Nate's going to go and the things and how you've been able to grow. But Nate, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Well, welcome. Glad you're here. You and I have never talked, have we?
No, sir. I don't believe so.
Well, I'm glad you're on the team. I hear a lot from Eric about you, and
well,
and
hopefully it's good.
You know, it is actually. You know, isn't that the truth? But I have heard your conversations, because sometimes I listen into calls and see what see what you're talking about, what Eric is saying to you to help you best, or what I think would help you best. And he and I have talked about you after you've gotten off a couple calls. So I've been there. I'm there. I'm not there all the time, but I'm there to help these guys do their best for you. So anyway, if you would, Nate, could you give just like a thumbnail sketch of how you found us, why you're even doing business with us, and what you've done and where you expect to go with it, and how you're doing it, Nate?
Well, how I found you is I had received 2 or 3 emails, I guess, from an automated thing from Eric based upon resume on Career Builder or something like that. Uh-huh. And I had been in the industry before. I've only been doing this about a year now, and I have done it. Unfortunately, in that year, this would be the 4th company, because the other 3 companies were they were just shams, is the way I view it. You know, slamming people into very high leases and playing games with you sign up, we'll pay your cancellation fees, and all these things that are just gimmicks to me now that I've got some experience. So anyway, I was out for a couple of 3 months not doing it. I called Eric on that last email and sat down. We had a very nice conversation about how you guys operate, and the way you guys operate is more in line with how I like to do business with my clients, because I want everything to be upfront, honest. We're not playing games. We're here for the long term. We're not here just to try to get, a $199 lease out of somebody one time, make $1,000 or whatever and go down the road. That's not real business to me. And so, you guys' philosophy just lined up with my philosophy, basically. And so I said, okay. Obviously, these other companies had given me, hundreds of leads that were worthless for the most part. So I just started working those old leads just like they were just basically cold calling them, mainly going into not calling them on the phone. I would, pick an area that I had several leads in, and I would just, basically walk in on the merchant. And I have obviously a spiel when I go in, and so I was just, doing it on a part-time basis because I was working full-time at another outside sales position. So kind of when I would, had some downtime in that through the day, then I would just focus on trying to hit 2 or 3 or whatever of these old leads I had. And so I just worked it, and lo and behold, was able to hit the 5 required in the first 30 days to receive the fast start bonus.
Okay.
And a lot of that honestly does come from Eric and Chad, because they're extremely easy to work with. We talk about how to properly do deals and how to properly structure deals and how to properly explain it to the merchants. And I never had that experience with these other companies. It was just like, oh, just tell them we can save them so much money, or tell them we can save them this, but they got to do a $99 lease or whatever the case may be, and it's all BS. And me and Eric and Chad, we don't have these kinds of conversations. We have conversations about how to truly help merchants save money and get out of the problems that they're in. And we all make money, and how we make money in the process. And so we're actually able to do that. I make enough money that I'm comfortable with the amount of money that I make with you guys, and hopefully you're comfortable with the amount of money that you're earning from what I'm doing. And so I think that is the case. And so it's really, even though I'm just an independent contractor, it's almost like we're all buddies working in the office together. And what I've realized, that's kind of rare in this industry.
Well, you hit a couple of things, and I think you are right when you've mentioned, and I'm not trying to give ourselves a pat on the back. I'm
right.
And since we've never talked, I didn't know what you're going to say. I had no idea what you're going to say, but right. I was curious to hear what you were going to say, because a lot of people, I would say everybody. And I don't like to use words like every and never, or
right.
the global kind of words, but I would pretty darn close to everybody who's comes to us from some other company or companies says a similar sort of thing. What we do
right.
not do is provide leads, and what we do not do is gouge people on leases. But this company was put together years ago. I started this company years ago after having been to 3 different companies myself, and after being like one of the top guys at every place I ever worked, selling merchant services, I went, I can't do this. I can't do this for these people. I'm not going to do this for these people anymore. And I left
right.
the industry, and I vowed that if I ever did it again, I would come back and I would do it myself, and I would open up a company that would have 2 things. One is that fantastic support at corporate office. That if the company depends on people, like you said, independent contractors writing business, well, you really damn well better support them better than they ever thought possible. You better not only say you're going to do it, but you really better be able to do it, and you should give them the absolute best tools that you found to write more business than most anybody else. And so that's how First Financial opened, was that idea. And it's cool. It's really, it gives me kind of shivers to hear you say, 19 and a half years later, that's what you're experiencing. So, man,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Well, and not, you guys not providing leads is not an issue for me. Some of my previous jobs, I've had to totally self-prospect for everything I ever did. And so that's not a foreign animal to me, or whatever the case may be. I have found that, and for anybody else listening on the phone that may be considering looking at a different company gives you these leads, they're really bogus. Most of them are bogus. These telemarketers slam these merchants on the phone. They have no concept of why you're supposed to be there. Half of them don't even know that you're coming. I mean, it's really a waste of your time. So self-prospecting your own leads where you're being more effective and more efficient with your time and your money, in my opinion, is the preferable thing to do. And so, you asked me how am I generating leads and stuff like that. Well, I do 2 or 3 different things. They're not free, but I do try to find the cheapest route that I can go. And I found a company that for about $70 a month I can get 500 business leads, and so I cold call telemarket them myself. And I set my own appointments because I know that when I set my own appointments, they know my name, they know what day I'm going to be there, they know what time I'm going to be there, and they know why I'm coming there. And so we've just kind of started that, and so we're starting to have some success with that. So hopefully over the next 3 months that thing really ramps up and we can really build our pipeline up to where it's going to be easy, in my mind, to do 3 to 5 deals a week. But that's going to take time once the pipeline gets built. And so that's what we're currently working on right now.
You're working on a system which is smart. And we
right.
figure, too, that if we can, let me ask you, obviously you're in for the short-term money. What about residuals?
That's the most that is the most important aspect for this whole thing for me. Okay, the upfront money is great because it pays your bills today, but it's the long-term money, that residual money, and we've all heard it because we've all probably listened to some telemarketing a multi-level marketing spiel or something like that in the past, where you can build the residuals, and there's people that have done that in multi-level marketing. They've made lots of money. But there's hardly any companies out there in this industry that will actually pay real residuals. And so the residual is the most important aspect for me, because I know that after a 3-year period, if I continue to work hard and I meet my goals, my personal goals, then I'm going to be able to wake up in one day, and guess what? I'm not even going to have to worry about that upfront money. I'm still going to make the upfront money because you guys pay it, which is great, but it's not going to be something I am, living and dying by, so to speak, on a daily basis. And so that's the most important thing for me in this whole thing, is getting the residuals.
Yeah, and that's really that's my interest too, and anybody who and that's why the companies that provide you leads, they use their residuals to buy leads, and so therefore they can show you how to scam a merchant up front to make a big upfront comm, but they can't pay you back. You can't ever build anything for 2 reasons. One is they don't pay it, and 2 is that once these merchants find out that you haven't quite done them right, they don't stay around for very long. They get a little upset, and
believe me.
And if you're right, I'm sure. I'm preaching to the choir. I know you probably had that come back on you. I don't know for sure.
I've had some voicemails left on my cell phone that you go, and you don't even respond. You just have to go up there and talk to that guy in person and say, you know what, you can be angry all you want, but you can't threaten me. And doing those deals because you are ripping these guys' heads off in the long run, and you're costing them more money than what they were paying before, they get a little angry over that. And so that's why I got out of the industry for a while, because I was like, I got to find, if there is a company in this country that will do it the way I think it should be done, I need to find that. And luckily I did. So
I appreciate that. And when you play it like that, what happens is your clients stay with you. I mean, when you play it right, your merchant clients stay with you a long time, and that's how you can have that. You can, like you said, I'll wake up sometime and I don't have to be concerned about the upfront money, which is exactly right. When you play the game right, it pays in spades. That's what we've had over the years. So, yeah. Who said that?
Brian.
Was that Brian? Nate. Well,
John.
Brian. Here's Nate. I don't know if you've ever met Brian, but Brian, have you met him, Nate?
No, never.
No, we haven't met.
Okay, well, Nate meet Brian. Brian meet Nate.
Nice
Brian's
meeting
been
you,
around.
Brian. Hi, Nate.
Yeah. Well, so Brian was in your position a handful of years ago, and today Brian has I don't know, how many accounts have you brought on, give or take?
A little over 600.
Okay, so a little over 600. So Brian is one of those guys that wakes up in the morning. Well, you know what? I'm not going to mention that. So what's your world like after writing 600 deals, Brian?
A lot less stressful because you like you say, you don't have to worry so much about the upfront money.
I was going to say, I mean, how many cars and boats and motorcycles do you have now?
I have 4 kids. I don't have much money left after that.
There you go. It's all going to college.
Yeah, they're got the last one starting college this fall. So yeah. Anyway, no, it's a great thing. And as far as the longevity of the accounts, when you do it right, some of the most wonderful business relationships I've ever had are with my merchants. You know, and I've got merchants that I've written over the phone in almost 30 states. That you know, some of those clients they're almost like my best friends, and I've never actually physically met them. You know, so it's really cool some of the stuff that you can do when you treat people well, because they understand and they've been treated well, especially if the last guy screwed them. They really appreciate you a whole lot more.
Well, and another thing I like about First Financial is that, and this has been an experience with these other companies. When the other companies give you a lead and you go out and write a deal, you're the guy locally that is doing business with that merchant. But those companies don't believe that merchant is your client. They think it is their client. And in some respects it is, but in most respects it's not, because you're the local guy that when the merchant has a problem, they're going to call you first.
Exactly.
And First Financial doesn't look at it that way. I mean, yes, they are customers or clients of First Financial, but at the end of the day, First Financial does believe that merchant is the local rep's customer, and we're all working together for a common goal. And which is odd in this industry, because most of them don't do that, because they will. I've had them to where these other companies, I've written these guys, and I'm walking away, and that company will call that merchant and just throw you under the bus and call you names and tell everybody how horrible of a person you are. And you walk in there and try to, you know, just kind of keep that relationship going for hopeful, you know, future business, and you're just creamed. I mean, they just nail you. And I don't like that, and First Financial does not do that. That's another positive thing I see.
Well, and the great thing about First Financial is they realize that the customer, they're not buying First Financial, they're buying you.
Right.
You know, and that's the really cool part.
So,
you know, they realize it's your relationship, and you know, if you take really good care of them, it pays off big dividends later.
Well, it pays off for everybody.
Well, yeah, it's good for everybody. It's good for the merchant. It's good for First Financial. It's good for Brian. It's just win-win-win.
Yeah, you know, and you know, if you play the when we set this up, you know, this works great for guys like Brian and Nate and me and the you know, because we're in it for a long-term game. If you're in most things that I've seen, if you're in it for the short-term game, it's a short-term deal, and then you've got to go on to something else and something else and something else. At some point, if you want some freedom in life, you got to buckle down and play the long-term game. It might be a lot of work for a couple of years, but most people grind out their life until they're too old to do anything, and they die wishing they would have played the cards differently. You know, here's an opportunity to play your cards right now with other people who are playing the same game for the same reasons, and it's cool to hear you guys talk about it. It's fun I'm glad Brian's here. I'm glad Nate's here. It's fun to see somebody that's been here a couple months versus somebody who's been here a handful of years. It's fun. Do you guys mind if we open it up for other people who might have questions for you guys?
I'll put it up.
No.
Okay. So Amy, if you would, and what Amy has mentioned before, if there's a lot of background noise, she'll just mute you. Don't take offense at that. It's just that whatever you're saying on the phone, or dogs barking in the background, or sword fighting, or whatever's going on back there, comes across to all of us. So, but now's your opportunity to talk to a guy who's starting, who's having success, and the guy's been around, has had a lot. So feel free, ask either of these guys anything if you'd like, or me if you want to ask me something. I don't know as much as they do, so feel free to ask them.
Yeah, right.
So anybody who, if you have questions, say your name and whatever you want, and these guys or me will be happy to answer whatever you have.
Nate.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Ray Shapiro out of South Carolina and North Carolina.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I was wondering, just fine, thanks. Seems like I might have came from a similar mold as you did, because I had 3 years of direct sales in this business, running leads.
Right.
And I was wondering, do you still feel comfortable doing the face-to-face as opposed to, making the appointments on the phone? Because I'm having a little bit of a, I'm just not feeling comfortable, doing it over the phone. I don't know if my responses, would be as
well.
as
if you're not having success with that, then obviously there could be a myriad of issues why you're not having success. Maybe the script you're using, or whatever, isn't powerful enough. It's not captivating enough. Maybe you're not able to overcome objections over the phone. There's all kinds of things that go on with phone work that, without sitting down and actually watching you and see what goes on, I can't explain, tell you about that. But if you're more comfortable with doing face-to-face, this is basically how I do it. I walk in, I have my business card in my hand, and I immediately ask for the owner. If they're not there, I ask for the manager, because the manager is going to give up some information. When I get that individual, I immediately hand him my business card, tell him who I am. My name is Nate Rogers with First Financial, and I just kind of go into a spiel. I'm in the area, and we've helped thousands of merchants just like yourself save lots of money, basically, on their credit card processing. I was wondering if I could, take 10 minutes of your time and do a quick comparison with you. And they're going to say, if it's a manager, he's like, well, I can't make that decision. Obviously, you got to talk to the owner. So then you get the owner's name and when they're going to be there, so you can always follow up. If the owner is there, obviously they're not expecting you to be there right that second. What I always try to do is just set an appointment for the next day or a couple of 3 days later. Gives them time to get their merchant statement and all that stuff together. And I don't have much problem with that.
Do you do much in the way of feedback?
I actually do. Me and Eric have that conversation all the time. If you don't get him the first time, you're not going to get him. And I keep telling him he's full of it. Just give me a minute. We'll get him. Okay. And
I'm the same way, and I'm under Derek's wing too.
And and if John has ever heard some of mine and Eric's conversations, he knows it's not that nice. So, but
I don't know if it's not nice. It's you know what?
Straight to the point.
It's real. It's real, man. It's real.
So because I keep telling Eric, I'm the guy in front of them. I know when they tell me they can't do it that day, I can see that they're jumping their hoops trying to get their work done. Something's happened. If somebody's not showed up for work, whatever the case may be. And so sometimes you have to go back because of these types of issues.
Definitely.
But generally speaking, because of the way the way we do it, the way First Financial does it, when you send the statements in, they actually say, look, okay, they're being charged 50 basis points. Knock it down to 30. You can show that to them in their actual statement with all their money, all the figures. You can sit there and say, look, with us, instead of paying this, you're going to actually end up paying about $70, $80 less per month, whatever the figures end up being. And guess what? It doesn't cost you anything to sign up with me. And I'm not a big lease guy. I don't sell. I've sold one lease since I've been here, last week, as a matter of fact, because that lady really needed it. I do mainly just reprograms. And so that's another nice thing about First Financial. They don't really scream and cry when it's just a repro. Just as long as we get business on the books, that's what matters.
Right.
And so I do mainly repros. And so you can literally walk in and say, I don't charge anybody setup fees and all this nonsense either. I don't believe in that crap because it doesn't cost them anything to set up.
Right.
And so I let them walk in for free, and we do a repro. And when it's time to download the file, I go back out to the business, and I personally physically do the download to make sure it gets done, and so they can start processing. And that's kind of how I do it.
Oh, interesting.
And then after you do the reprogram and you've saved them the money and you've met them several times, I'm hoping you're asking for referrals.
I wait about a month.
Or do you wait a couple weeks or whatever and you go back?
I wait till they get their first statement, and then I go back to them and say, okay, now
and then they know you're real.
Guys. And now I'm going to show you exactly from your last monthly statement who you were with to me. Now you can see that you process, $15,000 is whatever you process roughly every month. So with X company you paid $300. With me you paid $200. So I told you I'd save you $100, right? Yes. Did I save you $100? Yes, you actually did. Great. Now, Brian, I know you have, other business owners, you have friends that own businesses, and they're in the same boat. Let me go help them too. And that's what my referrals actually wait until I can actually get back in front of them with an actual statement. To me, it's more powerful.
Right. Very powerful.
So, thank you, Ray, by the way, for hopping on. Did that help?
No problem.
Good. Anybody else? Man, you've got guys here that are doing it, that are not afraid to explain exactly how they do it and the words that they use. This is a better call than the ones that I do by far. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you.
Sorry, I'm long-winded. I'm from Oklahoma.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
I can retire early, man. This is.
Take the rest of the week off, would you, buddy?
What's that?
Just take the rest of the week off. You've done great.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Man, boy, this is the easiest week I've ever had. You guys are great. I appreciate that. Anybody else have any questions to fool Nate or Brian or Ray or John?
Let me ask you a question again, Nate. In regards to these leads that you're getting in a particular area, or whatever. If I may, what's the name of and are they pretty decent, or I know they're just names, owners' names, and you just run it through
it's more than that, because you get the business name, the owner's name, you get an address, you get a phone number, and sometimes you get an email. Okay, so you get some pretty decent information off of that.
Do they charge you an arm and a leg for this, or what's the deal?
Well, there's two ways you do it, and I obviously, starting out doing anything, I always go the cheap route because I don't want to outlay a bunch of money for something that may or may not work.
Sure.
And so you can do a month-to-month deal with these guys. It's $69.99 a month, and then if you do that, they charge you $69.99 like a setup fee. So your first month's $140. Then after that, it's $69.99 a month. And so basically what you're going to get is, over the course of a year, is 6,000 leads. So you can download 500 names in a month. Okay, and for me that's fine. Because it's just me doing it right now, and so it's kind of hard to make 500 phone calls in a month to new stuff, plus anything else you have working. Okay, so that thing builds pretty quick. And so that's how I do it.
Do you usually set a day aside for just phoning, or what?
I always like to call on Mondays. I was taught that many years ago when I first got into sales, and we just sit down on Mondays, all day Monday and half a day on Tuesday, and just pound the phones. And you set up appointments for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, whatever the case may be. So that's just a system that I was taught many years ago by a different gentleman. And so I use my computer to make all the dialings. I purchased a software, and that software is another $68 a month. It gives me a VoIP phone over the computer. Plus, it gives me a CRM function, and what's great is that, so I buy the leads, I can download them into a CSV format. I can then upload them into the CRM software, and that software actually, I can actually make notes as I make a phone call, right? And
Right.
I can, at the end of that phone call, I disposition it, whether I have to call them back because they're too busy, whether I kill the lead, or whether I set an appointment, and it tracks my calendar, the whole 9 yards for me, right? What's great is after you provision that or disposition that lead, it automatically dials the next number in your list. You don't ever dial anything. It just keeps dialing it for you whenever you're done with the phone call. And so that's kind of how I do it. So to give you the names, the leads come from a website called tryinfofree.com.
Tryinfofree.com.
And then the CRM is called VanillaSoft. And then through VanillaSoft, like I said, it's $40 a month for the CRM. You have to pay $28 a month for the VoIP aspect. And then I had to buy I actually bought an upgraded version, but you can get a free, what they call a soft phone, which is the dialer, which integrates in with the VanillaSoft. And you can get that for free. That doesn't cost you anything. And if you do the VanillaSoft, it's all there on their website and do it all right there. But anyway, it's called X Lite. And I'm talking to you on it right now. So, you can see the call quality that it actually has. And so you can do the X Lite phone, and that doesn't cost you anything, and all that stuff integrates in together. And that thing will just it'll just keep dialing those numbers and load into the system. Bless you.
Well, great. Question.
Well, I appreciate
the quality of those leads are.
Huh?
What would you say the quality of those leads are?
I don't ever assign a quality to a lead, because when I first got into sales, I was taught by this old man. His name was Tony Ashworth, and you know what a lead is? It's a name and a phone number. That's it. It's your job to actually generate interest in what you're trying to do, and so I don't assign quality to a lead that I get that's a name and a phone number. Now, when these telemarketed leads that I was getting through these other companies, I will assign those at all crap. Because I'm not the one actually doing the work. Okay, but I've done so much telemarketing in my career. I've probably made at least 1 million, it seems like, telemarketing phone calls over the years. And so, a lead is just a lead. It's just a name and a phone number, man.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Thanks again, Nat. Appreciate it.
You bet.
We probably have room for one more call. If not,
sure,
let's wrap up. And if there's anybody that wants to hop in real quick, then now's your time.
Nate, my name's Cam Higgins, and I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and we welcome you aboard. You do everything exactly like it needs to be done. You're gonna, and the thing is, the longer you work with us, the more that you'll find that this is a great bunch of people to work with. They're very generous and very fair and very helpful.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues with that at all.
Thank you, Cam.
And you won't. You won't.
Yeah. I haven't had any issues getting paid or anything. So.
No, I admire the way that you do it. I do most of my sales over the phone because I have a lot of customers that are miles and miles and miles away from me. So I like the way you do it. I think that you're going to be incredibly successful with us. And
thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that, Cam, and thank you guys. I'll wrap this up by thanking Nate. Thank you very much for being here. What an awesome call, Brian. Great, Ray. Thank you, Cam. I always appreciate you chiming in, and I don't know if Shelly Johnson is on the phone, but she was mentioning the other day. She goes, "We got to get together again. We got to get together." We haven't done one of those get-togethers for a little bit, but I think we should. You guys are awesome. We need to hang out somewhere fun. So we'll look at putting something like that. I don't want to take you off making money. That's the last thing I want to do. But it might be fun to get together and hang out a little bit. But want to wrap up by thanking all you guys from the bottom of my heart. You know how you guys are doing it for you, which is so cool. You're building. You know, I see each of you, and I know your stories, and you're building this thing, and you're creating what you want to create. And man, that's I can't think of any more honorable thing to do with your life than do something like that. So congratulations for doing everything that you do, and I'm so proud of all of you guys. So anyway, wrap this up and look forward to seeing you guys Monday. Anything we can do throughout the week, you know, we're here. Call us, ask us. We're here to jump on and help. So thank you guys for being here. We'll talk to you all very soon, and definitely next Monday.